The Dallas, Texas weather can be, well, unpredictable. But for those of us who have lived here for a while, we've learned a few things to help prepare for and deal with the 5 different extreme weather swings we get here. We'll help you know what to expect when moving to the Dallas, Texas area and give you our top tips to save you time and money when it comes to these 5 weather swings, even if you already called DFW home. So stay tuned.
We're Bret and Molly Chance at Texas Home Life Realty, and some of the most common questions we get from our clients moving to the Dallas-Fort Worth area from other states like California and Washington is, do you get a lot of tornadoes? How hot does it really get in the summertime? And other weather-related questions. So today we're going to cover the Dallas, Texas weather, what to expect when moving to Dallas and the surrounding suburbs, and some tips to help you save time and money to give you peace of mind.
Now, since we just had a pretty big hailstorm here just a few nights ago, let's start with hail first. For those of you who don't know, hail is actually balls or lumps of ice, each of which is called a hailstone. They can range in size from pea-sized hail up to softball-sized hail and larger. Hailstorms are one of the biggest reasons our home insurance premiums are so high here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Some of our clients moving here from other states like California, Washington, Virginia, and other places around the U.S. and the globe get sticker shock on the price of homeowners insurance. According to the National Weather Service, we typically get 2 to 3 days each year of hailstorms. Now, not everyone in the Dallas area will have damage, but it will still cause everyone's insurance premiums to go up just because of their location. Some of the hail we saw a few nights ago was smaller, around the size of a grape, and fell straight down, and other hailstones were the size of a softball and were coming in diagonally. So you can get damage to your roof, the siding on your house, your windows, the screens, the fence, anything that's outside, including your vehicles. And believe me, you absolutely do not want to go outside when it's hailing. It can definitely cause some serious injuries, no matter how small it looks. Let me give you 3 quick tips when you encounter a hailstorm here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. First of all, roofing companies will come knocking on your door. Be careful here. There may be some legitimate companies that do go door to door, but not many, unfortunately. Most states in the U.S., including Texas, do not require roofers to be licensed. So it's really smart to get a referral from somebody that you trust. You'll want to know that they not only can repair your roof correctly, but they're actually going to be around later for any issues, warranty issues that may pop up. Now, secondly, if you don't have any gaping holes or broken windows, you may want to just hold off having your roof replaced until after hail season. You know, there's nothing worse than having a brand new roof put on only to encounter another hailstorm the week after, costing you another deductible. But definitely have it looked at by a reputable roofer to make sure that there's no possibility of water leaks. And third, it's always a good idea to have the amount of your home and auto deductibles put back in savings. That way, it's not such a big strain on your finances when it does happen. Because in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, hail damage to your home is not a matter of if, but when.
Let's talk about tornadoes in the Dallas Metroplex. Since North Texas is partially included in Tornado Alley, we do see them around here usually in the spring and summer months. As a matter of fact, we already had 6 tornadoes in the area in the last 6 months of 2023. For those of you that are concerned about living in the area where there are tornadoes, here are a few things you need to know. First of all, typically we have plenty of warning to prepare before we see them. Local weather stations will interrupt TV programming, and you can set up your favorite weather app to alert you of any potential tornadoes in your area. Most, if not all, cities in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex do have storm or tornado sirens. Sirens are activated when either a tornado warning is issued for the area or a severe thunderstorm warning with winds at or above 70 miles per hour is issued. You'll hear the cities test these sirens usually once a month. Here in Flower Mound, we know they test the storm sirens on the first Wednesday of every month at 1 p.m. Just a side note, you'll hear weather forecasters talk about tornado watch and a tornado warning. To best help you understand the difference in between the two, I'm going to use tacos as an illustration since we love our tacos around here. On the left side, you have all the ingredients to make the tacos: the meat, shells, vegetables, and salsa. The ingredients are in place to make the tacos, just as it would be during severe weather, when the moisture, heat, and setup is in place for severe weather. Then you have all the ingredients that come together for severe weather or tornado activity. You get your taco or your warning. Secondly, you'll want to know how to prepare for a possible tornado. If you're at home, here are a few graphics to help you know the best place to stay as protected as possible. Go to the lowest innermost room in your house away from windows. Typically, it's a bathroom. When our family has to shelter for a tornado, we typically get fully dressed in case everything gets wrecked and head into our closet downstairs. We'll take our phones and phone chargers so we can continue to follow the weather forecasters and know when it's safe to come out. We'll also bring flashlights and some water to have on hand. And if you're a praying person, this is definitely a time to pray. We definitely do a lot of it. If you happen to be on the road and you see the skies really darken and the clouds start to look strange, make sure you turn on a local weather station or check your local weather app. A lot of times we're driving in the car and may not have any idea that there's a tornado because we're streaming music instead of listening to local radio stations where we can get alerts. Best thing to do if you spot a tornado while driving is to pull over and find shelter. If there are sturdy buildings around, go inside to the lowest level without windows. If you don't have the time to get into a building, Noah recommends that you stay in the car with the seatbelt on and put your head down below the windows, covering your head with your hands and a blanket, coat, or other cushions if possible. Or if you can find a ditch or low spot off the road, leave your car and lie down in the low spot, covering your head with your hands. Now obviously this is not ideal, but just do what you have to do to protect yourself. It's best not to try to outrun a tornado. So when you see one or get notified, it's always best to find a safe building as fast as you can. Thankfully, we've never been in this situation before, but my mother-in-law and my daughter have been. Several years ago, Molly and I were out of town at a business conference, and my mother-in-law and my daughter were out shopping. The weather turned really fast. Thankfully, they were able to pull into a Walmart and get inside. Now, this wasn't ideal, but it was definitely safer than being in the car.
Now that we've talked about the two scariest weather threats in the Dallas area, let's talk about flooding. We do tend to get times when the rain just pours, especially after a drought, when the ground just can't soak up the water fast enough. This can cause some flooding, and it can happen faster than you think. Now, here are a few tips about how to deal with flooding. First, let's talk about flooding at your home. If you have a pool, know that it can overflow. Even though some pools will have an automatic feature to drain water if the pool reaches a certain level, it can't keep up when we get a super heavy rain for long periods of time. So it's a great idea to know how to open up the valves on your pool to manually drain the water to a certain level. Just don't forget to close the valves when it's back at a safe level. We've actually had to do this quite a few times. Now, secondly, not all homes have the best drainage in their yards. Some yards can get quickly overwhelmed with a big soaking rain, and you definitely don't want that water getting into your house. It's very common to see yards here with French drains to help with the overflow. As an example, we actually sit lower than our neighbors behind us, and all three of them have pools with hardscape. So when we would get a hard rain, all of the water from their yards and their roofs would flood our backyard. So thankfully we were able to find a great landscaping company that created a plan that included grading our yard, putting in river rock, and multiple drains to help with the runoff. And now we don't have to worry about every time it rains. Now, one last tip about flooding: if you're in your car and you see a flooded area in the roadway, don't ever try to drive through it, even if you're in an SUV or a truck. It's amazing how many people get stranded in some water on the roads. According to the DMV, just 6 inches of water can cause loss of control or possible stalling in most cars, and 2 feet of moving water can carry away most vehicles, including SUVs and pickup trucks. Unfortunately, we see it on the local news pretty much every time there's flooding in the Dallas area.
Something that people aren't quite prepared for when they move to the Dallas, Texas area is the summer heat. See, in the Dallas area, we have humidity with our heat, which makes it feel worse than the heat you might have experienced in other states. Let me give you a few things you need to know when it comes to the hot Dallas, Texas summers. First of all, the heat really starts in about May or June and gets pretty unbearable in August before it starts to cool back down. So be prepared for high electric bills when you're running the AC. We keep our ceiling fans running and try to close the blinds in the afternoons to keep the bill a little lower. Secondly, heat along with less rain in the summer causes the ground to get pretty dry, which in turn can cause possible foundation problems. Running your sprinkler system or hand watering the ground near the foundation regularly will definitely help keep the issues away. Our family loves being in the pool during the summer, but when it gets brutally hot at the end of July and throughout August, we usually get some pool time in before lunch or after dinner when the heat isn't as bad. Now the pool feels more like a hot tub in August, but you can get used to it.
Something us Texans get made fun of a lot for is how we react to our crazy cold snaps. But when we have extreme cold weather mixed with some precipitation, we don't typically get beautiful snow, we get slick ice. Here are a few things you'll want to know about our cold spells in the Dallas area. Since our vehicles aren't equipped with special tires and most people don't have tire chains, driving on ice is almost impossible. When the local weather station is calling for ice, prepare accordingly. If you're able to work from home, I would suggest doing so. And here's the deal. You may know how to drive on ice, but the problem comes when the people around you don't. Just turn on the news in Dallas the next time there's an ice storm and watch all the cars sliding around playing bumper cars. Now, for your house, when it gets below freezing at night, make sure that you drip all your faucets, both hot and cold, and open up cabinet doors where you have plumbing, especially on those outer walls. In the snowmageddon of February in 2021, we had all the faucets at a drip and all the cabinet doors open to keep any pipes from freezing. But unfortunately, one of our bathrooms is on an outside wall and was not properly insulated from when the home was built. Now, when those frozen pipes thawed, we had an expensive mess to deal with. One last tip when it comes to both extreme cold and heat in the Dallas, Texas area is to invest in a generator if you want peace of mind in those weather extremes. Quite a few of our clients have done this, and our family has as well. You can get a generator at different price levels depending on what you need.
Reach out if you have any questions about the weather in Dallas. And if you're thinking of moving to the Dallas, Texas area, you can download our top 10 best Dallas suburbs guide below. Or you can click on the next video to binge watch everything you need to know about living in the best Dallas suburbs.